Hello and welcome to the AutoHaz YouTube channel, the YouTube channel that I randomly started in around June 2025 and haven't properly introduced until now. I thought it's about time that I get on camera, introduce myself and show you the person and the car behind this YouTube channel and explain to you guys the reasons why I've started this YouTube channel and what my plans are with it for 2026. So first off, I'm Harry and welcome to the AutoHaz YouTube channel. Thanks so much for stopping by, and while you're here, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. And a massive thanks to everybody who has subscribed and watched my current 2 or 3 videos published on the channel. This is my F56 Mini John Cooper Works that I picked up back in March of 2023. Next Friday, it's 3 years old, and I've done 43,000 miles in this car in those 3 years. All of them I've done with a massive smile on my face. So I thought I'd show you around the car today and introduce myself as the presenter, the content creator behind this YouTube channel. So back in September 2021, I passed my driving test and my first car was an F56 Mini Cooper diesel. I've been on the road now for nearly 5 years, and in those 5 years I've developed a true love for the Mini brand. Now, as I say, I collected it back in March 2023 with the plan to absolutely not keep it stock at all. I didn't want to go too crazy with it, but I've definitely done more than I ever thought I would do to it. I've tried to keep a nice OEM Plus look here, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you around today, and maybe even give you guys some inspiration for things to do on your own Minis. So first off, let's talk the factory spec. It's finished in that gorgeous Rebel green. I nearly chose Moonwalk grey, but it was withdrawn from production around 2 or 3 months before I ordered the car. So I opted for Rebel green, a nice stealthy dark style, following on from my previous Cooper D, which if I've got a photo of it, I'll put it on the screen just here, was finished in midnight black. The first thing I had done to the car was a full ceramic coating and front end PPF to keep it protected. This PPF is now 3 years old and that's kept my car looking in absolute pristine condition. Albeit it isn't like that in every little nook and cranny, it just needs a little bit of TLC, and that's one of my plans for this year. Under the bonnet of the F56 Mini John Cooper Works is a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, outputting in stock form around 231 brake horsepower and 320 Nm of torque. It's an incredibly versatile engine though. I know people out there who have gone over 320 brake horsepower out of these and north of the 450 Nm of torque mark, which I'm sure you'll agree, even that stock power is more than adequate for a 1350 kilo hot hatch. In terms of the engine on my car, it is ECU locked, so I've left it totally standard other than the odd few little parts here and there, such as the plastic e-Venturi intake system. I didn't opt for a carbon one because quite frankly, I couldn't justify £600 extra for something that I'm very rarely going to see. The functional bonnet scoop conversion is real carbon fibre, that you do see, so that's all I was really bothered about. And coupled up to that e-Venturi intake is a forged hard pipe, which is nicely heat wrapped at the back there, looks cool and it's functional, and it makes the sound of the intake a lot better, which we'll take a listen at later. Ka-dong. Now, from factory, my car came fitted with adaptive LED headlights as standard. I didn't need to pay a penny extra to have those. And I looked on the spec sheet and thought, I'm never going to use high beam assistant, but oh boy, I've used it constantly. And on the inside of the headlight as well, a nice little sort of visual touch. Mini changed on the LCI2, so the Life Cycle Impulse facelift 2 models. They facelifted this car twice. They put gloss black centers on the headlights, and it just helps make them look a little bit sportier, a bit more stealthy, and it matches that piano black trim that you see around various different bits of the car, just like around the grille, for example, and around the tail lights as well. And if my camera is picking up, you've probably noticed those yellow daytime running lights. Of course, unfortunately, they're not standard. In my personal opinion, they look wicked with the Rebel green colorway. They just work really, really nicely, and they cost me all of £45 from AliExpress. And if I remember when I published this video, I'll pop a little pop-up banner at the top here, which you can click. That will take you to my second YouTube video ever published, where I show you how to fit those to your Mini or BMW. It takes a couple of hours, and personally I think it's a really nice little upgrade. On F56 JCWs from factory, with the LCI2 model at least, you had 2 different options of alloys, 17-inch ones and 18-inch diamond cut ones with horrible run flat tyres. So obviously I opted for the 17-inch alloys, and I didn't want to pay extra for 18s because I had every intention of doing this upgrading them, changing them out for something a little bit more unique and stylish. And the wheels that I opted for were these lovely gloss black OZ HLT Legeras. They are 18-inch alloy, so they went up an inch in diameter. They're also an inch wider than the standard wheels, but the thing that drew me to them was not only how cool they look on the car, but also the fact that they clear those enormous front brake calipers that the John Cooper Works models come fitted with without the need for any spacers. And they're wrapped in the very best rubber Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. I think they're a really, really good match for the car. They increase grip levels massively over the pretty rubbish stock P0 tyres that came on the car, and obviously with them not being run flat, they're actually quite comfortable as well, considering that they're pretty skinny. And if we advance down the side of the vehicle, we come across the mirror caps, which used to be chili red, to match the chili red roof that the car came with from factory. But I didn't hang about and I changed those to the JCW accessory mirror caps. They've changed that mirror cap a few times along the years, and I think this is the most sort of discreet, subtle looking one. It's black on the top, got a nice grey finish on the bottom, nice little red pinstripe on there to match those various red JCW accents, just like on the side scuttles. And they say JCW on the bottom of them, so if you forget the car that you're driving, you can get out, look at the front of your mirror, and it reminds you. I've just filmed that shot and I don't even know if my head's cut off, so I'm just going to move the camera to the back here and hope. And last but not least, the rear of the car. I put my little AutoHaz Instagram handle stickers on there because apparently that's what every car person seems to do, and if it helps generate a little bit of traffic to the page, then why not? They were a tenner. I'm sure you've all seen these now many a time on a Mini, Union Jack tail lights. Some people think they're a gimmick. I personally think they look mega on the back of the car, gives it that nice sort of mark of British heritage, as that's obviously where the Mini comes from, albeit now that it's designed by the Germans at BMW. We've got the John Cooper Works logo on there, which only the E and the R are still red on mine. The paint seems to only last 3 years on those badges, but luckily Mini will sort that out under warranty. So I've already had the front one done, just need to get that back one done. And now that I've just spawned at the other side of the car, the only two modifications as such that I've done on the rear end of the car, other than the stickers, are that little stubby aerial and this lovely lip spoiler from CSR Automotive. Against the red roof, it means that you can see it, it's quite nice. I wasn't too sure whether the gloss black would go well against the gloss red spoiler underneath it at first, but upon arrival and sticking it on there, I thought, brilliant, I like that, that looks good. Does it add any aero or downforce? Absolutely not. But does it add a little bit more sort of fullness to the top end of the rear of the car? Absolutely. And that's just about it for the exterior modifications. As I said, I wanted to keep it a nice OEM plus style, so something further than OEM, but not too leery and in your face. And I think those modifications selected together are a nice way to keep this car looking stylish, but not stock. After all, I didn't want to keep this car stock. It's far too fun to be kept in stock form. There is, however, one more thing that I've done, which you guys can't see. Well, you can see the results of it. The car sits a little bit lower. How much lower? I don't exactly know, roughly 30 mil I'd say. But responsible for that are the JCW Pro coilovers. They're an official Mini part that you can buy from a Mini dealer, and they are literally a KW V1 coilover, just re-engineered a little bit by Mini. And the best part, if your Mini's still in warranty, they are warranty compliant because they're a dealer part. They can lower the car, I think, up to around 35, 40 mil. My car was absolutely on its backside when I had those coilovers first fitted. So I had that raised to a more sensible, usable height while still keeping it looking nice. The best thing about these coilovers, other than the fact that they're warranty compliant from Mini, so they can't throw any tantrums about you having them on there, are the fact that they are incredibly comfortable. They've got a really nice supple ride whilst lowering the car and improving the handling. The only thing that would be nice to see from them is camber adjustment, because as standard Minis do not have camber adjustment on the front, but camber adjustable top mounts are out there for a reason, and what's to stop me from going from them? I tell you what's to stop me from going from them, and we'll be completely honest, it's the knock-in suspension, because rattles drive me absolutely mad, which is something we'll talk about on the inside. So welcome to the interior of my lovely 2023 Mini John Cooper Works. This seat, I can't believe I've sat in it and done 43,000 miles of driving in 3 years' time. I think that goes to show just how addictive this car truly is. Now, before we talk any more about the interior of this car, I've just thought of something. When I bought this car, I thought around the 3-year mark, I'll probably be bored and I'll change it for something else. But here I am with absolutely no plans to get rid of it. Yes, I've toyed with things like 3 Series Tourings along the way, a performance diesel even, just to help with the MPG side of things because of the miles that I do, but I just can't bring myself to do it. My heart truly loves this car. I've had so much fun driving it, made so many memories in it, taken it to so many places, and now I want to do that on the YouTube journey as such, which hopefully will be somewhat successful. But anyway, enough waffle about me being glued to driving this car. Let's talk about the interior, the place where you spend your time whilst you're covering those miles. The factory spec for the interior of my car is the dynamic suede JCW bucket seats. I nearly opted for those lovely, plush, comfortable Mini Yours leather seats. I do think they look really classy inside the Mini, but I thought, no, this is meant to be a mean, sporty hot hatch, therefore it's got to have some form of bucket seats. Heated front seats are standard. I'll tell you absolutely one thing, my heated seat never goes above bar number 1 because they're so warm. Dual zone climate control is another comfort-based standard feature on this vehicle. Unfortunately, no heated front windscreen, and that was something that I did have on my last F56 Mini, the Cooper D, and it was an absolute lifesaver in the winter. But then again, it's not the end of the world, and the vast majority of the year you don't end up really needing it. Another interior change that was made on the LCI2 models is the Nappa leather steering wheel. It's just got a much nicer, more premium feel than that of the previous pre-facelift model, which had quite a thin, hard steering wheel. Yes, it did have nice red stitching, I will give it that, but this wheel just feels nice and premium. And obviously, based on the fact that the price point of the Minis, at least the JCWs, is over £30,000 for a small hot hatch, you'd expect it to be nice and premium in here. And that reminds me, one thing I must say about the F56 Mini is, just because it's actually really a BMW underneath, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because it has worked wonders for the interior quality on here. But in the driver focused area, the Nappa leather steering wheel's got paddle shifters on the back. They could have a bit more of a tactile, clicky sort of feel to them, but I've only recently started using them since I've had the exhaust thing done, which I'll talk about again when we go for a drive. And then ahead of me is, of course, the digital display, the digital dashboard, with still an analog rev counter. I think that's the thing I love the most about that. The fact that the digital dashboard displays more information, it displays information more effectively than the previous analog style cluster, but that rev dial is still analog, and it's really nice to see that element of analog sort of kept into this Mini, because I know these new ones now have a big screen, and I have got a review coming on the brand new Mini Electric very soon, and it is quite nice to have those tactile buttons. I know some people of my generation probably don't care, they couldn't care less about having physical buttons, but personally it is nice to have those physical buttons and that analog element still kept there. Alongside the digital dashboard is the 8.8-inch touchscreen entertainment display. This used to be an optional extra to have the 8.8-inch. It's standard on LCI2 models, but you used to be able to get a 6.5-inch display as well. My previous Mini, I was very lucky, that came spec'd with the 8.8-inch display as well, so that's all I've ever really been used to. But the touchscreen functionality is fantastic. My previous one never had that. And wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, or at least I think there's Android Auto, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but wireless Apple CarPlay, which is what I use as standard, is absolutely fantastic. It saves you having to plug your phone in every time, and still the audio quality and things on there is pretty good. Next to the hazard light button, there's also that little driver assistance button. It has got things like front end collision avoidance and lane keeping assistant. No adaptive cruise control or self-driving functionality on this vehicle, but who buys a really exciting, engaging hot hatch to then press a button and let it drive itself? Trim-wise on the interior, it's just standard piano gloss black, a really nice clean option. Would maybe like to do these front bits carbon fibre, that's something I can investigate down the line. And the other thing that they got rid of, and I don't know why, Mini, if there's a Mini designer who ever comes across this video, please explain to me why you got rid of the awesome JCW patterning that came exclusive on JCW models around the centre screen. I loved that, but what is quite nice is the blind ring, they call it, the lighting around the screen, has this new design. It's less intense at night, but it still looks really nice and vibrant in the day. The car comes with 5 cup holders, but 4 seats. There's 3 in the back, 1 each side and 1 in the centre, and 2 cup holders in the middle here. Another thing you will have noticed, this car is automatic. When I bought the car, the option for manual had been phased out a matter of 3 days prior. I was going to go automatic all along, and I know there's going to be a selection of people out there who are going to jump straight to the comment section on the video and go, Harry, it's not a true hot hatch, it's not a true JCW because it's only got 2 pedals, it should have 3, and you should be doing this rather than that. I get that, but I've done 43,000 miles in the car, and the ZF 8-speed transmission has been so handy. Cooper S models, they get 7-speed dual clutch, as do Cooper models, and I'm pretty sure the new petrol JCW has also gone to dual clutch. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm yet to find out. But in the middle here for storage, you've got this little centre armrest. This folds away to get out of the way if it does get in your way, but for me personally, I like to use it as an armrest. It's nice and adjustable. Rear privacy glass is also something that I did spec from standard. I think it's about £200 extra, but it's a must. It makes the car look better on the outside, and it just keeps it a bit nicer on the inside here as well. But you will have noticed other things like my A-pillars aren't standard. I've actually done a full audio upgrade in this Mini. I think it's possibly got to be, in fact it must be the most expensive thing I've done to the car overall. I've had some nice Hertz tweeters fitted in here, the Audison Prima BMW kit. That's something that I had fitted in my last Mini and transferred over to this one, but then did further upgrades on as I became more of an audio geek as such. Boot space isn't exactly very generous on the Mini, but then again, a 3-door hot hatch is not the sort of thing you buy if you need space or if you're using it as a family car. That being said though, there are ISOFIX seat fittings on the rear seat, so if you do have a small child that hasn't got, well, obviously if they're small they're not going to have very long legs, but hasn't really got long legs, then that's absolutely fine, because this is my driving position. I'm about 5'8", 5'9", probably at a push if I go like that, and there's no leg room behind me at all. Rear seat room isn't really the one in here. They're more so a storage haven for me. So my jacket is currently on there, as is the rest of my camera gear for filming this video. But that's enough waffling from me on the interior. Now let's start it up and let's go for a drive and waffle instead. I wiped my windows yesterday because I washed the car and it Saharan dust rained on it last night, and now I've got to put a camera on the inside of the windscreen, which is going to leave a big suction cup mark. I'm not going to drive my OCD mad at all. Right, let's get away from these pothole-laden, bumpy back roads and go somewhere where we can enjoy the car a little bit more. Obviously, I mentioned earlier on that the car is on JCW Pro coilovers, which does make the suspension firmer, yet I would go as far as saying that the ride comfort itself is actually better than standard because the car isn't as bouncy. But it's time to talk about what this car is like to drive and why I've been so addicted to it, and as a result, done 43,000 miles in 3 years. So first off, driving position. The driving position for me personally in the Mini is really, really good. It's got quite a BMW-esque driving position. You know, you can get the seat sort of quite nice and low, steering wheel nice and far out. The only thing I will say about the seat height is my seat is as low as it goes, and sometimes, I don't know if it's just because I sit in the car ever so slightly differently, but sometimes I get in the car and sort of wish it would go like 1 or 2 pumps lower. All-round visibility in the JCW is good. The blind spot from the pillars isn't too bad. The windscreen on the Mini is very upright and it's quite curved as well to fit that very rounded nature of the car. The downside to the very upright windscreen, you get a fair bit of road noise off it, but it also absolutely eats up stones. I recently had a stone chip on the windscreen, and that developed from a small chip to a big 5-inch long crack within about 4 or 5 days, which again doesn't help that the roads are very rough. Also doesn't help that I've just gone into fuel reserve, so we will be stopping for fuel shortly. But I had to have a new windscreen put on the car, and my insurance company messed me around and made it a hassle, so I ended up going for a main dealer. But a brand new windscreen on a Mini will set you back £1,200. I also love the fact that this is one of the cars that's still of the generation that has the iDrive dial controller down here. The new Minis don't have that, and like I say, I've got a review on the new Mini Electric coming very soon, as we've got one in the household, and truth be told, it is really, really quite good. But one of the massive downsides to this new screen system is obviously you don't have an iDrive controller, so it's entirely touchscreen, which when driving down a bumpy road like this is really difficult to operate. So having the iDrive controller down here is fantastic. From 2021 onwards, the Mini JCWs lost their sound a lot, and that was due to EU emission regulations, meaning that the car is fitted with what's called an OPF filter. It almost works like a secondary cat, and it just murders the sound out of the car like crazy. So I've had a solution done thanks to someone in Italy, and it's made the sound so much better, and it's also given the car its pops and bangs back in sport mode, because that's another thing that you lose on the post 2021 build cars. Coupled with the e-Venturi intake, and it's brought back this car's character absolutely miraculously. It sounds so much better, and it's really made the car so much more fun to drive. The 8-speed ZF transmission is really nice and snappy. At the moment it's in drive, you knock it over to go into sport, that's dropped down about 4 gears just then, but I can drop down another gear and really press on, and you'll see it gives me a good kick in the back there as well. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally like that kick in the back that it gives you. It makes it feel more aggressive, more sporty. It also makes the car feel faster. Peak torque, I'm pretty sure, is around the sort of 1500 to 1700 rev mark, which is very low for a petrol engine that sort of likes to rev out. Red line's around the 6000 mark, and boy does this engine like to rev out. If you put it in its sport settings, it just keeps going and going and going, and you think surely it's got to upshift soon, and it just seems to keep on pulling and keep on revving out. Right, now that we've got a fresh tank of fuel, we're doing a little bit of town driving. I'll quickly address town driving because there's not too much to say about it other than the fact that the car's perfectly comfortable driving around town. You do feel all the little lumps and bumps in the road when you're at lower speed. That doesn't help the fact that obviously my car is lowered and it is sat on sportier style suspension, but it's by no means uncomfortable. And in terms of fuel, like MPG return, we're looking around the mid sort of 30s. In fact, I've just filled up and I've reset my trip computer, and driving around town at the moment, I'm actually getting 38.5 miles to the gallon out of the car. There's 3 different driving modes: green, mid and sport. Mid mode is, as it suggests, it's in the middle. It's the perfect medium for day-to-day driving. Green mode, if we click it now, gives you a little fuel economy meter thing on the digital dash. It lowers the gear shifting point, it softens the throttle response, just makes the car a little bit gentler, but it does feel a bit sluggish, doesn't really react to throttle response very well. Obviously, go back up into the mid and then into sport, the car will drop some more gears, as I did a few sort of minutes ago. It starts to pop, you downshift, you get more, there we go, we get loads of pops out of it now. It's warm, it's good fun. The steering waitens up artificially, albeit, but it does feel nice when it's got that additional weight to it. It just makes the steering feel more sort of planted, and the car feels more at home. It starts to feel more like a Mini John Cooper Works should do. Torque steer, it can be a little bit of an issue at times. It could possibly benefit really from a limited slip differential, but let's face it, it could be a lot worse. And I know there's people out there who will say, oh, everybody who owns a Mini is very quick to use the go-kart feel motto, but there is a reason for that. It does genuinely feel like a go-kart. Yes, quite a big go-kart. Now they are getting larger, but you definitely have that really nice planted lightweight feel to the Mini. It's 1,300 kilos roughly, a little bit over that, but that weight is absolutely fine, and the handling of the car really, really sublime. We're just coming into a 60 mile an hour here, so we'll slow down. There's no one behind us. If we accelerate from low speed in first gear, and then 60. It's really quick. It's sort of 0 to 60 quoted by Mini, I think it's about 6.1 seconds, but the car's definitely faster than that. You're talking around 5.5 seconds. In true BMW fashion, every car that they make always manages to do that 0 to 60 sprint quicker than what they state. However, without a doubt, the cornering ability of the Mini is its most exciting factor. But you ask, Harry, what's made you so addictive to the Mini to do 43,000 miles in it? Well, it's actually the sum of all of those things together. It's the Mini's ability to be so fun like this on a Sunday afternoon on an open back road when I really just want to sit back and enjoy the car and film a video, but also the fact that now if I needed to do a long trip to London, for example, and sit on the A1 for 2 hours, it's still perfectly comfortable there. It can sort of refine itself, it's nice and responsive if I want to jump into that overtaking lane and get past slow moving traffic, but sat at 70 miles an hour in 8th gear on cruise control, the fuel mileage per gallon return is really good, the car feels nice and planted, you still know that you're driving something sporty because it just has that DNA in it, and obviously that 2-litre engine up front is a really good blend for everything. It's nice and powerful and punchy, but as I mentioned, it's also nice and civilized when you need it to be. And one of the other things which I really love about the car is the way that it looks. Every time I got this car and walk away from it, I find myself looking back at it, and as a petrol head, that to me is a way of the car saying, you know you've chosen the right car when you cannot walk away from your car without looking back at it. So overall, let's summarize it in a list of pros and cons. We'll start with the cons. Yes, the car is quite noisy. You do get a lot of wind noise off the windscreen. Space, there's not an awful lot of it, but then again, you don't buy the car for that. And I do think things like the seat could probably do with going a little bit lower, for example. And some of the things, the way that this car was specified when I got it, I do wish that there were more individually tickable options, because it was either sort of most of things or everything, and there are a few things that I wish I could have had extra, but I had to pay the price to get loads of other things that I didn't really care less about. The pros list, however, far outweighs the cons list. In fact, it heavily stomps straight on top of the list of cons, and that is exactly why I've done 43,000 miles in this car in 3 years, and I had a big grin on my face, just like this one, for every single one of those miles. The car looks good, sounds good, handles good, accelerates good, brakes good. One thing I did forget to mention, the brakes on this car are stock bar the pads. When it came to brake pad changing point not that long ago, I opted for some Pro Bite pads. A member of the Mini group helped me out on those. I can't remember his name, but if you're watching this, big shout out to you because that helped me out massively. The other pros, it's a nice place to be in here. It feels premium. It's more premium than the vast majority of hot hatches on the market. And I know there's a lot of people out there who might disagree with me or not like me saying that, but it is the reality of the Mini. They are really, really nice and premium on the inside. Another pro for me is the ability to modify the vehicle. There is such a fantastic modification platform out there on the F56 Mini. There's so much you can do to it to really make it yours. But another pro, and this is not specifically about the car, it's more so the people that own them. The Mini owners community is absolutely fantastic. I'd go as far as saying it's one of the most connected and most loyal owners communities out there. I've managed to get no end of help on things that I've done to this car from fellow owners, and that is a really nice thing to have, and it gives you confidence in owning a Mini, because if you do have a question or a problem at any point, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's someone out there who will pop up on the likes of Facebook or Instagram and help you out. And I also want to give a massive shout out as well to all of the people, all of the companies that have helped me get this car looking, sounding and performing the way that it does today. Performance M for supplying my Venturi intake, the guys at Perrin Automotive for supplying my OZ Leggera wheels, Carl at Studio In-Car for getting my Alderson and Hertz set up in here, sounding absolutely fantastic. Pete at Prestige Valeting for doing various little bits of PPF and helping me keep the car look absolutely stunning. Robert from Cam's Mini Club for helping me install really simple things like the dash cam when Right, now that we've got the camera stuck back in the windscreen successfully, Robert from Cam's Mini Club for helping me fit something as simple as the dash cam when I first got the car, and my partner, who unfortunately isn't beside me today but has accompanied me on the vast majority of those 43,000 miles and has made driving this car, we've had some fantastic drives in this. We've taken it to some awesome roads, wicked good wood trips, and so many fun, exciting times, all thanks to this car being so excited and spirited. And also a massive shout out to her as well, because we've also got a review coming on the convertible Mini platform thanks to her. I'm going to be getting her car out shortly and doing a full look and drive on that and seeing how the convertible stacks up against a hardtop. But that is pretty much all I've got to say about this car. I really do love it. I think there's only one way to end off our drive in it. Shift it down in second and head on. And there you have it, my very unplanned look and drive video on my Mini F56 John Cooper Works. I've had an immense amount of fun making this first video, and I'm really excited to make more content on the channel this year in 2026. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, leave me a comment of any cars that you'd like to see on the channel, any videos you'd like to see, and most importantly, subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to find out when I upload a brand new video. But like I say, thank you so much for watching. I've got lots of exciting ideas and hopes for this YouTube channel in 2026, and I love you guys to join me along the way. For now, take care, and I'll see you in my next video.